Well, hello everyone and welcome to Chef Shelley's Kitchen. So it seemed as though people enjoyed when I had guests. I was fortunate enough to have my dad, who people have called the master chef, so I must be junior master chef. We had my husband who helped make a nice dessert or do something different with cranberries. And today I have the pleasure of having my younger sister, my baby sister Karen, join me. And I wanted her to join me for this particular dish because she is a lover of crabs. And so today we're going to actually be making for you warm crab bruschetta. And this is something that you would serve as an appetizer. And what I'm going to actually do is the quantities that I'll put on the site is actually for a serving of 8, again, as an appetizer. She's visiting with me and we're actually gonna make a meal out of this. So we're gonna eat that along with a nice healthy salad. But I'm really looking forward to it. And as I was trying to think of what we could make together and I came across this wonderful recipe, I was like, oh, this is the one. So we're gonna go on and get started here because we here again are gonna be using the crock pot. And then we have a little treat for you. We've got some little questions we're gonna ask each other in the name of sisterhood. Just to make it interesting, while it's cooking, we're going to actually come back and we've got to do this actually in 3 parts. So, Karen, why don't we start? It's got a lot of wonderful things. I can't say this is like Mediterranean, but what's the first thing you're going to add to the recipe?
Okay, so first we're going to add 2 cups of peeled, diced Roma tomatoes.
Sounds good. I love tomatoes. It's always good. And notice, by the way, I'm standing on the right, she's standing on the left because she's left-handed and I'm right-handed, and then we work really well together. What else you got?
Okay, and then this is a half of a yellow onion.
Okay, and
chopped up.
we know that we love onions.
Love onions.
She loves onions too, by the way, so yes. I'm not the only one. So to that, next what we're gonna add, this is actually garlic. It's a tablespoon of garlic. And again, I'm gonna put all of the specifics on the site anyway. We've got olive oil that we're gonna add to it. We have balsamic vinegar, and by the way, you're going to be surprised to know that some of the best balsamic vinegar you can buy from Marshall's or TJ Maxx in their food section. I am telling you, we have found the best balsamic vinegar. So that's actually where I think we got this one from Marshall's. So put that there. And then we're also going to add, it's actually a tablespoon of sugar and oregano, about 1/4 of a teaspoon. So I'm gonna just go on and stir this around as like so. How does that look? Looks pretty good to you?
Looks good.
Looks
already
really
smells
good. It already smells good. I agree. It's that balsamic. All right, now what we're gonna do is we're actually going to, here, I'll give that to you. We're gonna put the lid on it. We're actually gonna let this cook for 2 hours on low in the crock pot. And then after that's done, we're gonna come back, we're gonna add, I'll let you add the crab meat since you're such a crab person. So, and look, I'm Cancer, not the crab, so that's why she likes me, I guess. But we'll let her add the crab meat, and then I'll add the basil. We've got some fresh basil and some salt and pepper that we're gonna add. So while that's doing its thing, I thought it would be interesting kind of as a little segue before we kind of go off and come back 2 hours later. Let's make sure we're still looking good though, right?
Right.
So, you know, there's something about sisterhood, and so many of, I think, the viewers are going to be able to relate to this. You don't necessarily have to be a twin to have things alike. For example, Karen and I have gone on numerous vacations together. We especially like going to the Caribbean. And we have had incidences where, you know, she lives in one state, I live in another state, like 5 hours apart, and we meet up in some Caribbean island, hadn't seen each other for months, and we go unpacking our suitcase, and what normally happens?
We have some of the same items.
I mean, identical, identical dresses, shoes. I remember one time I was like, oh God, you've got to look at these shoes I just bought. I got these at Macy's or Dillard's or whatever. And she just doesn't say anything, comes out. She has identical shoes. So there's something about that. And we are shoe sisters, I would definitely say.
Yes.
And I think it came from our mom because, you know, I didn't realize that she loved shoes as much. Until, you know, her passing, and I had to clean out things and couldn't believe how many shoes she had. I was like, that's where we get this shoe fetish from. So anyway, we've actually come up with some questions to ask each other. As I mentioned, you know, we have a lot of things in common, but we are still very different. As I mentioned, I'm right-handed, meaning I'm very left brain, so I tend to be very analytical, very structured. You know, she's nodding her head, and she's left-handed, meaning she's right brain. She's more, in my opinion, creative, more on the relational side. And there have been numerous times, and you can attest to this, where I've called her up like I wasn't sure about how an email sounded or, you know, what I was about to say. And I'll call her up because I know I can be straight to the point. This is what I want to say. This is what I want to do. And I'll say, Karen, how does this land on you? How does this sound? And what will you do usually?
Switch it around.
Switch it around, yeah. Soften it, right?
Exactly.
So I have to rely on her. And one of the things she said, I don't know if you remember this. I hope you can remember it. I'll be able to paraphrase it if not. But it's something, you said something about how, well, Shelley might appear to be kind of have a little harder exterior, but what did you say was on the inside? Do you remember that? You don't remember?
I don't remember.
She's like, she's mushy on the inside because she know I will cry at a dime.
That's true.
So, all right, do you want to start with your questions? So we kind of thought of some questions to ask each other to share with you guys just for the sake of entertainment. But what's one of the questions that you have? Either something I should know about you or what do you have up your sleeve?
Well, it's actually a question about you.
Uh-oh, okay. I hope it's rated G.
It's rated G. So you know that crabs are one of my very favorite things.
Yes.
So I was wondering, what would you say is one of your favorite things to eat?
Well, that's easy. You just think about wherever we would go for my birthday. Where would that be?
Avocados.
Hibachi chicken.
Hibachi chicken.
Hibachi
That's
chicken.
true.
That is my number one form of or type of food that I enjoy most.
Yes.
So, I guess kind of sticking with that a little bit, I know, even though you have on fuchsia now, that your favorite color is purple.
Yes.
She's always had purple as a favorite color. What do you think my favorite color is?
I'm kind of stumped.
You have to guess one answer.
Let's see. Ooh, you gonna give me a clue?
No. And the time is running. The people are like, let's go, Karen.
Black.
Well, that is what I have the most in my closet. But my answer is bright colors. So I love all bright colors. So fuchsia, yellow, orange, green, blue, whatever. It's just all bright colors. So this is a hard one. That's a really hard one. Okay, so what's your second question?
My second question is, if you could meet any historical figure.
Whoa!
I know, right? And they could be dead or alive. Who would it be?
I think you know, with everything that's going on right now, probably Martin Luther King Jr. I think it would be. I just think he's such an inspiration that I would love to kind of get into his mind, and you know, he's just so philosophical but loved people and such a pioneer. I think that's who would be. What about for you?
I think I would love to meet Barack Obama.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Michelle, of course.
Of course. Now I should say Michelle too.
Yes.
Because that
I would like
lady
to
is
meet
after
both
my
of
own
them.
heart.
Yes.
Especially Michelle.
Yes.
All right, last one, and then we're going to break. We're going to let our food kind of simmer for a few hours. We're going to come back. So my last question is, what's been your favorite place that you've traveled to? I will tell you, mine is Italy. Hands down, of all the places I've been to, all the continents except Australia, New Zealand, and the Antarctica, and I'm not going there. But of all the places I've been in the world, Italy is my favorite place. What about you?
Well, of course, you've traveled a lot more than I have, but I don't know if I have a specific favorite place, but I love the Caribbean.
Yes.
And I love the beach.
Yeah, I was about to say,
yeah,
we're beach bums.
If there's a beach and I can go in the water and see my feet,
we're good.
I'm in.
We're good. We're good. We went on
Absolutely.
some vacations in the past where we've invited friends, and they were not beach people, and we were like, we'll see you at 4 or 5 o'clock at night, because we leave, we'll eat breakfast, go down to the beach, bring our sandwiches, salad. We don't leave till like 4 or 5 o'clock. So anyway, and then the problem with her though is that she likes to lay out without being under the umbrella, and I'm always under the umbrella, and I'm like, get under the umbrella. So,
but I do use my sunblock.
yes, you do. All right, so enough for now. We're going to let this simmer, come on back, then we'll add her favorite food in the whole world and some other things, and then we'll obviously taste these, and maybe we might even have Curtis join us for a little taste test, so we'll see. All right, so stay tuned. We'll be right back. Okay, so we're back, sis, and I tell you, it's smelling good, isn't it? It smells really good. I think it's the combination of the garlic, the balsamic vinegar, just all of that together. It just smells delicious. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to add the crab meat and then the salt and pepper, and then you actually put it back in to let it cook longer. So you can either cook it on low for an hour or high for 30 minutes, okay? So why don't you go on and do the honors, since you are the crab master jam.
Okay. Master
She's just
jam.
gonna add that to it. See, she's got the left hand going, guys. She's adding that crab, and it looks good too, doesn't it? We were just talking about it, and this is not imitation crab. I don't recommend that you buy imitation crab. Get the real thing, you know, depending upon what store you get it from. This is actually wild caught, and it just looks really good. It's lump crab. So we're gonna, while you're doing that, you stir that around. I'm actually gonna get something so we can maybe show it to our audience.
Okay.
What it looks like once you get a chance. Maybe I can give you a bigger spoon too. How about that?
Smells
See, now
so
when I have an
good.
assistant, I can do other stuff. Okay, you want to use this? Do that.
Smells so good.
Oh, I know. And I've never, well, I started to say I've never made bruschetta before, but that's not true. I took a cooking class once at a organic grocery store, and we made bruschetta, and it was totally delicious. And so I'm actually really looking forward to this, because I love having parties. You know, I like to be Miss Socialite. I'm gonna be doing the cooking. She does the socializing. You know it's true. You know it's true. Okay. What I'm going to add now is some additional seasoning. So remember earlier we put the oregano in, but now this is actually salt and pepper. So don't worry about the quantities. I'll include it in the write-up, but I just have the combination of salt and pepper. It's actually a little more salt than pepper. And then I'm going to just ask my sister to stir it again. Mix it up there for us.
I'm kind of folding it in.
Yeah, that's
not
good.
To break up the tomatoes.
Yes, and the crab, right? Because you kind of want to keep that a little, lumpy.
Yeah.
And as I mentioned, we're actually, this is something that you would normally serve as an appetizer. We're going to have this for dinner. We're going to have some salads, some really nice salads, and then this is going to be actually our dinner. So that's going to be good. All right, I think that looks good. Why don't we kind of cover it a little bit? See this part that's not under, get the liquid on it and see how it actually has absorbed a lot of it. So let me again kind of show you a little bit of what the consistency of that looks like. If you can see, and certainly we're going to be putting this on top of the baguette so you can see exactly. All right, so let's close this up for now. We've got ours on high. We're going to do high for 30 minutes and then we'll be right back. All right. Okay, we're back, sis. So what we decided to do was cook ours on high for 30 minutes, which was perfectly fine. And the key with the crock pot, if it's low, you double the time. If it's high, you cut the time in half. Right. The other thing that we did while we were waiting is we also browned our baguette. So we took a loaf of actually whole wheat baguette and sliced it, and then we actually brushed it with a little bit of olive oil, put it in the oven, and toasted it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to fold in. Sister, will you get the lid for me? This is actually basil, fresh basil that I cut, and we're going to actually put all of that in there. And we were just talking about how good this smells, like so delicious. It smells so delicious. So, and it's pretty. I'm actually going to just scoop up a portion so that you could see it. And one of the things that we were discussing over the break, actually, I'll just do this so if you can kind of see how delicious that looks. It's just looks good and it smells good too, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
All right, I'm going to turn the spoon over to you, and then I'm going to just take some of our baguettes. Let's just take, a couple here. That's too much, I think. We just need to cover the top of it. So one of the things we were talking about actually over the break was I cut this in half. Because I figured, it's just the three of us, my sister, Curtis, and I. And we realized, because we're going to have this for dinner with our salads, that I probably could have cooked the whole thing. So we used 1/2 pound of the crab, where you really could have used the whole thing. And when it says it serves, I'll say 8. You're going to use the amount that I put on the site, but if you're going to serve 16, you're going to double. So it's pretty, simple math. All right, we can actually just start with that and see how that tastes. Why don't we do that? So you choose.
Should we show them?
Yeah, let's show them how it looks if you don't mind. And you might want to go a little closer. And we'll, of course, take a picture of it so that you can see it. And so you start, since you're the guest, you choose, and I'll choose, and we'll see how this turns out. Thank you. It looks delicious, but I can tell you it does smell delicious, so bon appetit.
Bon appetit.
Oh, we're going to toast it. Toast. That's a good flavor. How do you like the crab?
I like it.
It's good. Oh, let's see.
It's
Let's try it again. Yummy. So delicious. Thanks again for being my guest.
Thank you for having me.
And it was wonderful, and I couldn't think of any other person I'd rather cook crab with. Because she's the expert. And she's actually given me a lot of other recipes. We share recipes. And we always doctor it up and make it our own. She's given me some great recipes. The turkey chili was the base of the turkey chili was something that she shared with me. She got from a friend of hers, a former coworker. And then you tweaked it and I tweaked it, and I also shared with her the chicken tortilla, and she tweaked it and told me some other things to add. Totally delicious. So we share. We love each other. We come from good blood. So thanks everybody for tuning in, joining me with my sister, and more to come. She's still cracking on her, so I can't wait to get mine as well. So please remember, give me your comments, your feedback, and as always, I ask you, please share the video. Please share. And just FYI, if you're watching this on Facebook, it's also out on YouTube. So if you want to subscribe to the channel, it's all under Chef Shelley Thompkins. So that's all for now. So see you guys later. Bye-bye.
Bye.